Welcome back, everybody. I thought we'd actually do a reboot and relook previous topics that we talked about, and I think that it could benefit us, especially going into this new year of 2022. As of the time of this video, 2021 is coming up to a close. It's almost Christmas time. We have Thanksgiving here coming up within the next week, and then we have Christmas coming in about a month and a week. So I thought that this would be a perfect time to talk about things that aren't necessarily talked about on the daily basis, or something that in most homes they don't actually talk about. Let me give you this first analogy before we start off on everything. You have two people. One person that is open about their finances, the other person that is very closed and closed-minded and doesn't talk about their finances. So the person that's open-minded is going to learn more, they're going to progress more, and they're going to make better decisions because they're open and they're communicating and they're talking about it. As opposed to people that are closed-minded about it and nobody knows right from wrong, or nobody knows how to fix a situation because we're not talking about it. Say, for example, they're always buying the newest iPhone, the newest cars, they're renting their house, they don't own it. And 50 years from now when they go to retire, they say, well, since you wanted to have all these nice things at the moment, you don't have anything to retire with. So I really want to talk about that before people get to that, stage of life where it's too late, right? Most people that are watching this video, it's early enough where we've caught the bad habits, we've caught it, and we can progress moving forward and fix these issues, right? So that's why we're here today. That's why we're talking about it. I'm going to cover a whole bunch of basic principles that we're going to talk about. We're going to have a list of things that in this series we're going to talk about, and I'm actually devoting more time to this. As of the time of this video, we do stream, of course. We stream great games, we have fun together, and we love the entertainment. But the purpose of this channel is to educate and inform you guys about your finances. So we've become a hybrid. We have entertainment and we have education, and we throw it together. So these are now going to be the flagships, the main event every single week. We're doing 2 of them. So I'm editing them and I'm giving you guys the investment that you guys deserve. So in this series, as you know, it's called How to Become a Millionaire. That's what we're titling it. That's what they were titling in the past, and we will have better cover photos and everything like that. I promise you that if you invest your time in this, you will get something out. I can promise you that. I don't promise things that I can't keep, but I promise you, if you invest your time in this, you will get something that will change your life, right? And I do this for free. No gurus, fake gurus. Just a guy that's, trying to help you out from his own experiences. So we're bringing out the book, as you guys have seen in many, many episodes. We are bringing out the book, right? So I'm just going to list off some basic things that we will cover and we'll talk about, and you'll need to change, or vice versa, and we'll go over them, okay? So number 1, we're going to talk about basic laws. That's what this episode's going to be, basic laws. In episode 2, we're going to talk about setting goals, the attitude diseases, the day that changes, big if, work harder on yourself than you do at your ... We'll cover that. Only way it gets better is ... Number 8, we're going to talk about the 4 majors. What are the 4 majors that you have to have? Number 9, can't chase the seasons. We're going to talk about that. Number 10, winter and spring, kind of the seasons. What does that have to do with money? We'll get to that. 11 is we protect and we take full responsibility. We'll talk about that. Self-development is number 12. Number 13 is law of use. Number 13 is law of use. Number 14 is sewing in. Then we talk about the big 5. Then we talk about 5 abilities. We have a ton of stuff that we will talk about. So in today's video, basic laws is number 1. And we're going to talk about just the basic laws, right? In this video, we're going to talk about the ancient fundamentals. We can't start anywhere unless we have a good, solid foundation, right? Because in the Bible it says that you have to have a solid foundation, right? You can't build a brick house on a sand foundation. Everything will crumble and fall. Just like you can't have a house made out of straw, but you make it on a good foundation. Yes, it'll stand, but for how long? So in order for us to actually effectively do this, we need to establish a strong foundation. And the best place to do a strong foundation is 1, biblical. Ancient biblical, obviously, because these are older things. So if we can go back in time and have a good framework and foundation, we can then succeed. So let's go over some of these fundamental principles that I have and apply anything that you think would be worth it for you. All of these are great principles, and I strongly encourage that you employ them, okay? Number 1, pay yourself at least 10% of everything. Now, before we go on any further, when I say pay yourself at least 10%, what does that mean to you? Do you fully take home everything that you make? Like, do you go to your job, right? Say you work at UPS, right? Just because that's a good job, they pay well. You know, do you take home everything that you make from UPS? Well, no, of course not. Well, how much do you make, right? Well, I have to pay off the car. I have to pay off the phone. I have to pay off the rent or the mortgage. I have to have grocery money, right? I've got to pay for child support. I have all of these things that I actually have to cover, right? So everything you make is not yours. We've covered that, right? You're in a lease for whether it's a car, a house, something. Say you're in a lease, okay? You are now legally obligated to pay them X amount of dollars over X amount of months or years for what you want. You lease your phone. You have a 24-month lease on your phone. You then pay Verizon, AT&T, Sprint over 24 months for the service and for the actual phone itself, right? You pay them. And if you don't pay them, what happens? Well, they turn it off. So out of everything that you make, 100%, 10% has to go to you, right? Whether you put it in a savings account and let it accrue high interest savings, later you put it in a stock market where it grows, 10% of all of it has to go to you. Because we don't get to keep everything, right? Like, not everything we make is actually ours. I have a acquaintance, right? They actually spend. They make $3,000 per month, but they spend $1,500 in car payments. $1,500. That's half of their monthly pay goes to just their cars. Half. That's insane. Don't be like that. So the first point to write down is a part of what I earn is mine to keep. 10% minimum. If you can do more, great, but you cannot go lower than 10%. And the reason why we have definitive numbers is because, say when something comes like the PS5 just comes out and you buy it, right? Well, maybe then you stop investing some of that money and it goes somewhere else, right? Or you're like, oh, I'll just stop for 1 month and I'll just put it into here. Nope, we do definitive numbers so you can have definitive results. 10% minimum. If it makes you go to 9%, you can't afford it. 10% minimum. Glad that that's clear. Save the money and remember to trust only people that specialize. For example, don't trust a pyramid scheme with your finances. No get rich quick schemes. And what this is, and if you do trust them, you'll pay with your savings, right? So what does this mean? Well, let's break this down. Let's analyze it together, right? Save the money and remember to trust only people that specialize. Would you specialize a thief with your finances? Would you specialize somebody that, that robs grocery stores or has robbed banks with your finances? No. Okay, well, let's get a little bit, that's obviously, right? That's a clear no. Well, what if we go a little bit deeper? Would you specialize in something, say, in this parable, I'm going to tell you, you tell me where they messed up. There were two men, okay? One just got his hands on some money. He just got $1,000 from a bonus check, okay? I'm trying to make this as up-to-date as possible because this is an ancient parable. $1,000 on a bonus check. But a guy comes to him that's a landscaper and says, wait, I know this newest hype stock that's going to get you 1,000% returns, right? I know this newest thing, the NFTs, you'll get $1 billion returns. And you say, oh, I've got $1,000. Let me trust it in him. You give him the $1,000. He then comes back 2 months, 3 months later when you ask him, hey, I would like my return on that money. You know what he says? He says, oh, I'm sorry. Tesla stock went from 1,000 to 200 and I lost all your money. I bought an NFT, but nobody would buy it, so I sold it at cost. I didn't make any money. I'm sorry, you just lost all your money. That would be modern day time of this parable. In the ancient parable, it says a guy trusted a bricklayer to buy jewels. He went to buy the jewels and they were fake jewels. And he lost his whole fortune, right? So you need to put your money where it's protected. You have to keep it safe. But you also have to trust people that are worth trusting. Everybody has an opinion. They're like assholes and some stink, right? Like, You have to be very weary of where you put your money and who you trust with that money. A pyramid scheme is a great example. Yes, they teach you great sale tactics, but 9 times out of 10, you don't make money. Look at the statistics. Everybody at the top of the pyramid makes money, right? And the people at the bottom don't. They get screwed over, whether it be by product or something like that, or anything that's multi-level marketing. Don't trust your money in it. Yes, you can make money in it. Yes, the percentage of people that make is very small, that make very good money, and you could technically be one, yes. But what do the odds say? The odds are, and if you don't take this advice, you will pay with your savings, right? Say if you just saved $10,000 and you just invested in some hype stock that you know nothing about, you'll pay with your savings. Whether you trust somebody, you trust your buddy that you just got out of prison with, and he wants to start this new business, but he has no groundwork for it. He's just like, yo, give me the money. You'll pay with your savings. I promise you, whether it's good or bad, you will pay with your savings, right? Advice is the only thing given away freely, but watch that you only take what is worth having. You only take what's worth having. Everybody will give you their advice, but make sure that you're wise about what advice you take and what advice you implement. Even this, I wouldn't suggest you take everything without doing research, and if you do, choose you do with your savings. Do you eat them? How will you become rich? How will they work for you? What does that mean? What does that mean? What do you do with your savings? Do you eat? Well, obviously, clearly, we're not talking about eating physical dollar bills. We're talking metaphorically. Like, close your eyes for a second. I'll close my eyes with you, and we'll go over this together, okay? What do you do with your savings? Do you eat them? It's talking about money. Are you eating the ways that you use to make money? For example, say you sell books, right? And every book costs you $10. You sell it and you make $20. Are you now eating those $10? Like, when companies talk about we eat the cost, are you eating the cost of you making a fortune, of you making money, right? Are you squandering your ability to make money? And a lot of people are. People that live paycheck to paycheck will have very nice things and like keeping up with the Joneses, but they're squandering and they're eating their way of actually getting financial freedom and making money, right? Like, say they have this brand new BMW i3, right, that they can't afford. They're working too much at work and they can barely afford ends meet and everything because they have this very nice car. Well, you have this very nice car, but you're now eating a way that would get you out of poverty, out of middle class, into the upper class of wealth, right? They're squandering it, right? If you eat them, how will you become rich? If you constantly spend 100% of what you make on lavish things, how will you become rich? You tell me, how will you become rich? You can't, right? You simply can't. Most people, if they're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme or something like that, you need to click off this video. Thank you for tuning in so far, and I hope you enjoy the content, but I'm not for you. I apologize. But I pride myself in being humble, open, and transparent with you, right? We are in this together. I'm investing in you, and I think you're worth it. Otherwise, I wouldn't spend my time doing this, right? But if you spend everything you make, how will you become wealthy? You will always live paycheck to paycheck. Lifestyle inflation. What is lifestyle inflation? When you make more, you spend more. You make $15 an hour, you think that $20 an hour is going to solve your problem. You get to $20 an hour, but then you spend more money. Then you're in the exact same position you were in before, right? You're making good money, but there's still never enough. Then you get to $25, and you think that $30 is going to make it. So then you go back to school, you make even more money. You're getting paid $30 an hour, but you're spending all of it. You're squandering away all of the money, and you won't ever be wealthy. Why? Because you are eating what's supposed to be feeding you. How will they work for you? They won't be able to work for you. Money is supposed to work for you. Money is just a tool that we use and that the wealthy use. And here, let me explain this a little bit for you. So, money is just a tool. You use it to make things. For example, if I want a chicken, I will give money and I will get a chicken. I exchange it for things. You're not supposed to be working for money. Money is supposed to be working for you. It's a tool. Just like a hammer is a tool to hammer in nails, and you wouldn't use a screwdriver for it. You have to use the right tool for the right job, right? And it's supposed to work for you. Don't get that backwards. You call a fisherman lucky if he saves half of all his fish for a year. Hear me out. If a fisherman, and we're talking about an ancient fisherman, right? Would you call him lucky for, say a drought happens, right? Where there's low amounts of fish or no fish, people are starving. Would you call that man lucky for saving all of that fish? No, you would have called him wise. If during a time of plenty, of harvest, of bountifulness, right? Where money is literally growing on trees, or in this case, fish is literally flowing in the sea, right? Would you call him wise or lucky for saving 50%? Maybe at the time you would call him foolish. You'd say, oh, he's dumb. Why would you save this? This is coming forever, Like this stuff in our instant society today. Oh, this stock is going to the moon. Why would you get out at this point, right? But this man, he saved 50% of all the fish he had over many, many years, and he froze them. And then when the drought came, when there was no fish, no food, crops weren't growing, this guy had more than enough for many, many years. And they called him lucky. But that would be a miscategorization, right? Because he's not lucky. He was just smart enough to say, I'm going to save this for when times don't look so good. And that's what we need to do. Would you call a rich man lucky? Would you call him lucky? Obviously, aside from, like a lottery winner or something like that. Like just in general, would you call me lucky? Well, I hope the answer would be no. Why? Because if I put in the work, I reap the rewards. You reap what you sow. We'll talk about that in another video. But you reap what you sow. If you reap if you sow all of these seeds, for example, the seeds of fish, right? You have plenty of fish for food. You seed different real estate properties. You seed different businesses. You then get the ability to reap money from all of the things you've sown, right? So of course you couldn't and wouldn't call me lucky, because I did the reaping, therefore I get the sowing. And I'm not saying luck isn't involved in any way. I'm just simply saying that you can't call Elon Musk lucky for inventing Tesla, or he's just a lucky man for inventing PayPal, right? Or help inventing PayPal. He didn't do it by himself. No, you can only call him lucky if it was something that had to do with luck. And if it's hard work, you can't call him lucky, because you wouldn't call this fisherman lucky for saving half of his fish. Is that correct? Right? Of course not. You couldn't call him lucky. Which money is spent, does it vanish? When money is spent, does it vanish? When you spend money, does it just vanish? Does it go into thin air? Poof. No. It might vanish out of your account, but money, when you spend it, it doesn't vanish. What actually happens when we spend money? It actually gets distributed to different parties. For example, if I go to Food Line, Baker's, Costco, and spend money to them, my money then goes to Costco. Costco takes their profit, and it may pay for any of their expenses, anything from new materials, new cards, new products, their employee payroll. And when I give them $1, chances are Costco itself doesn't actually keep that whole dollar. Maybe they keep 10 cents, and 10 cents goes to their employees, and 10 cents goes to their, infrastructure, and 10% or 10 cents goes to their internet, etc. Like, it goes to all of these different parties. So when I spend money, does it vanish? No, it simply goes into different parties. So it's your job to be one of those parties that the money goes into, right? Don't obsess, settle for 10% and enjoy life. What that means is you don't need to live as if ramen noodles for every paycheck just to save that quick buck, right? For example, if you enjoy eating out, and you can afford to eat out once every week, but still save that 10%, then do it. I'm not asking you to live, to invest 50% and live in, the ghetto with no internet and no reliable car, right? I'm not asking you to do any of those things. I'm simply saying do minimum of 10%. If you can do more, great. But if you can't, just settle for 10% and enjoy life. We have to live below your means, but that doesn't mean live so far below your means you can't actually enjoy a life, right? Like if you want to go to the movies once in a while, you don't need to be like, oh, I was supposed to save 25% this month and I can only do 24 if I do that, so I can't do that. No, I'm not saying that. As long as you're above 10%, I encourage you to do those things. Why do only very few people become so wealthy? Ask yourself that. Why do only very few people become so wealthy? And you can't get mad at the person that's wealthy because he knows how and you don't. You simply just need to learn how, right? And you can't get angry at him for it. Also, if you want to make good money, is it not smart to do already what you know to make money? For example, if you're really good at baking, would it not be smart for you to make money off of baking? Do something you enjoy, something that you want to do, and something that you can make money at. So isn't it smart to make money off of things you know you're good at and you enjoy? Well, the answer would be yes, of course. So do that. We will cover the rest of these principles in the next episode. I've got 5 more things just on this one page that will change your financial literacy forever. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.